Here. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Thank you.
Oh, hi,
Hi,
Beth.
Beth.
Just
Good morning.
just in time.
Do you have a packet for?
Yeah, there's one right here.
No,
Oh, yeah.
she's got one.
Okay, I'm calling to order this meeting of the Public Arts
morning.
Commission. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017.
Oh, is this on
City
you?
Hall. Yeah. Room 604, it's 8 o'clock. So we'll do a roll call here. Ken Tutchison, I'm here. Vice Chair Alex Zacharias.
Here?
Alderman Randy Scannell.
Present.
Cheryl Vernier Wig.
Here.
And Pooja Weller.
Here.
And we have also Laura Schley.
Yep.
Why aren't you under that? Oh, you have different categories now.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
gotta
yeah,
keep going
that's
there.
very good. Liaison Representative Stacy Thompson from Mosaic is not here. Beth Lemke from the Neville Museum.
Here.
And Lee Clemens from the Civic Symphony. Sometimes he shows up late, but. Can I get a motion to approve the
Motion to
agenda?
approve the agenda.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Very good. We have no communications. Let's get right into old business. Presentation from the 9/11 Subcommittee. Alderman Randy Scally, you want to lead that off?
Oh, yes. Good morning.
What do we
Here's
got?
we got some handouts here on the, can I have that one? We have more? Oh, Lee just came.
Sorry.
Oh, all right. You
You
can share, you can share.
Yeah.
Good.
We've got it set up, pretty much everything's in place, and this has been okayed through the Parks Committee, by the council last time, so, we'll de-accession the girder, with the ceremony. Outline is roughly what the ceremony's gonna be. It'll be, we'll all gather around 8:30. Ceremony will begin in about 10 minutes, or 22. We're gonna have just a few remarks we'll have an invocation. We'll have a few remarks from the mayor, Chief Litton, Chief Smith. We'll have the police and fire department there in full regalia. There'll be a color guard. There'll be someone playing taps. We might also add a bagpiper. That's the only thing that's questionable now. We're not sure if that.
And a priest.
And well,
Oh,
invocation.
that is for
The invocation. Right? Or would it be
Yes.
prayer? Invocation, right?
Yeah.
And we'll observe a minute of silence and everything. We'll remove the girder. There'll be a procession. There'll be a motorcade, police car, the fire, not station, fire ring, with the girder on it, and then followed by another police car. And we'll have a bus from transit. That's all set. Anybody who wishes to go along in the procession wants to just jump on the bus. So media or anybody, spectators, anybody who wants to come along, or they can follow in their car as well. And we'll go to the police station, and we'll attach the girder to in their lobby. And that'll be temporary. The museum is interested in displaying that at all for any length of time. We can certainly, it's probably going to be passed around a little bit anyway between the police and the fire station.
Okay.
We can certainly include the Neville in that.
And any help you need in mounting it?
Aha! We do need help in maintaining it.
Okay.
The
Okay.
police chief was just mentioning, he was going to try and talk to Grenier, but I'll let him know that he can talk to you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool.
Is there any set dates yet?
The 9/11.
The 90, okay. And are there any of the relatives that might have had a relative?
We don't know.
Just wondering if that would add any
Makes sense.
significance,
Yeah.
So
I
this
don't know
is,
how we'd,
Technically, you would announce that there's going to be this memorial,
oh,
and that we welcome all, and we would welcome all.
yeah, there's going to be a press
family
release.
members.
It's been in the press
Yes.
quite a bit, and we're going to do another
So-
press release.
Right,
to-
so then if we do that call in that press release, then I think that, it would be encouraging
Mhm.
to people who know people, who knew people
Mhm.
to come here.
and is it either the mayor or either of the chiefs going to discuss the future of the girder? Like
No.
what's going to happen?
No.
Okay.
Not there, no. That'll all be in the press release, and that's all been covered before. They're just gonna say a few minutes.
Okay.
But then if someone might mention that, it's gonna be,
So the plan is to be on display at the police department. Do you know the duration?
No,
It's gonna rotate it, right?
it'll rotate between at least the police station and the fire station, probably every 6 months or 3 months or whatever they decided,
Okay.
you know, and we can, like I said, include the Neville in that. All that can be determined, it really doesn't matter, whoever wants to, I mean, if you want to hold it for 6 months or whatever, that can be easily worked out, I'm sure, you know, whatever.
The
And
goal is permanent placement in
before it's
whatever new
permanent,
building.
before we figure out permanent placement, and right now we're thinking the permanent placement being the public safety, new public safety building, but that isn't necessarily set in stone either. I mean, we can have those discussions going forward, if someone's got a better idea for it, we can certainly, you know, have those discussions. Going ahead is, you know, it's fluid, there's possibilities to make changes and.
You know, a piece like that almost seems like it belongs in the Neville.
Well,
Sorry.
in some ways, yes, but in other ways,
I think it's a memorial too, though, in point, a lot of
Yeah,
firefighters
but
got
then, you know,
it.
if you really wanted to educate people on what happened, why this piece came to, first of all, how it came out of the building, right? So you have that, and then basically how it came to Green Bay. And then, you know, you historically talk about how then it was, you know, DSF.
The accession.
The accession.
I haven't had the breakfast yet. So. You know, that would, it would teach generations.
We're thinking with, and again, this is fluid,
Yeah.
but with the final monument, it would be kind of a digital display with a lot of information. So,
It still
as
must
part of
remain-
it.
So it must remain a monument?
I think
It
so.
was
Well,
gonna be
it-
at the new
A
public
memorial, a
safety
monument, I
building.
mean, there,
Is that where it's gonna be?
huh?
The
That
public
was kind of
safety?
the plans,
Oh,
once
so
the
it's-
public safety building is set.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was going to the new fire station.
Yeah,
house. Is
the
that
public
same thing?
safety, yeah, it's
the
gonna
same
be the
thing.
police
It's
fire
another
station in the
It's
lobby.
it'll be a
And-
combined new building.
Okay.
I think they
Yeah.
were looking to put an actual display,
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
display and
When's,
whatnot.
what's the
so-
timeline on that building?
There is no timeline on that yet.
Like in the next three,
That's a
4 years?
thought
Well,
Yeah,
process.
could be. It'll be years.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Probably.
it's gonna
And-
bounce back and forth between the fire station and the pub, or the police station?
and possibly the Neville.
And then,
Yeah, you know, our collections committee talked about it, and the only concern that we would have would be the public accessibility. We do have, you know, I think from everything that I've read from the public commentary is how do we make sure the public knows where it's at?
Right.
And then how is it accessible? Because right now, as a monument on the river,
Right.
it's accessible
Very accessible.
24/7.
Yeah,
And so that's, I think, the challenge, at least for us, you know, historically, that's, you know, interpretation's not a problem, but technically, it's not in our collection scope, but that's something, that's a whole nother piece, but it's just accessibility. And how do we make sure that the public has it accessible? So if it's public safety, I would assume that type of building.
24/7.
You know, fire department, police department has different hours or operational than what we would
Or
have.
maybe the libraries. Maybe the
So,
libraries.
but then that becomes into kind of.
yeah, but even the
how-
libraries will have hours where
Oh,
you will
I
be
mean, sure,
unaccessible. See,
but-
the public safety building is open 24/7, so that's the advantage of always being available to the public. So that's the advantage of that one. But, you know, like I said, we can have that discussion going forward. I mean, if we decide to permit display to the museum or the library or what, I don't know,
Subcommittee
whatever.
would
Yeah.
I mean,
discuss that.
and there's hours that can't be or accessed.
Or maybe you can create perceptions of accessibility by creating a year-round program of some sort so that the public feels like they're engaging with it.
Yeah.
So whether it's
Yeah.
you know, kids coloring, representation, or adults doing
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah, I think we have time to figure all those things out as moving forward.
In the
And we
subcommittee.
can decide,
Yeah, in the subcommittee, you'd be doing that,
And the 9/11
The
subcommittee.
subcommittee.
It's the
9/11
9/11 subcommittee.
would be discussing this.
oh, I thought we'd be done after 9/11 and we did a session. I didn't-
Well, we have the sculpture also, like what's going on with the actual
With the
sculpture?
actual
But when,
sculpture.
but,
That's gonna be removed.
And-
oh, yeah,
Display.
that would be-
Right now they're gonna
And
remove
stored?
it and stored.
Yeah.
Do you know
until
when?
time.
No, it'll be done
It'll be
as
sometime
public
after.
works has the
It won't be like
opportunity.
the day of the ceremony.
Before
Yeah.
the end of
No.
this year, or?
Oh,
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Because are we
Right.
gonna wanna have that path,
Yeah,
Have that what?
that
Steve
space?
needs to see.
Yeah, yeah, for, yeah,
how-
yeah.
at the wrap.
As a
Once
wrap.
it's removed, Steve has to see how
The
Stable.
condition.
stable and the condition of the concrete and
Yeah.
stuff, because we don't know what all is.
But that area certainly, we
Yeah.
like to,
Fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, okay, anything else? to
But I
discuss?
would think that going forward, I don't know if the subcommittee would really need to be part of figuring out the next monument and everything. I would,
Well, discussing
That would-
the arrangement of the placement of the girder and maybe a timeline, developing a timeline for it.
I suppose,
Yeah, maybe they can meet, maybe you can meet one more time. Discuss that. Does that sound fair?
sure.
Do you want us to do like a follow-up after the ceremony and everything?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on the 9/11 subcommittee?
I think that about does it, unless there's any questions.
Good. Number 2, discussion with possible action on approval of Matt Burrell's letter of support application for the mural project Felix the Fox. We have Matt Burrell here.
Felix.
Yeah. Hi,
Morning, man.
morning. So this is the Fox, and it is,
Is it a foxy lady?
it's a guy Fox.
It's a guy Fox.
But it is mocked up on the small, like, utilities building that's on the corner of, is it not Irwin, but it's right by, like, the Dairy Queen on Main. Small building, it's on the right-hand side when you're going east.
Water utilities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is, yeah, like right, just past like Shenanigans, down from Woody the Moose, but on the right-hand side before you get to our garage and all that. So, relatively small mural. Half the reason of getting this proposal together was to really use a lot of the, funds that were generated from Catalyst in an effort to accelerate public art, because that was by no means like a 3 or 5 year plan. That was a, hey, we need to implement some stuff. And when people have an idea for a project and there's permission there, you need to say yes, because now money isn't an objection. So
Right.
Bo's mural was included in this like 3-part proposal to Old Main Street's Public Art Subcommittee. So this was next on the list, and now that Bo's is done, now this is kind of at the top of the list for trying to get something in Green Bay yet this year for the Arts District to really make an effort of truly becoming an arts district.
So is that building owned by the water utility then?
So that's part of the like research that I'm trying to find out as far as like
Oh,
who
okay.
is the
Who
ultimate.
make the approvals on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what this letter of recommendation and all that helped to get done.
This is city property though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I
That's
think
the
this is
water
great.
utility would be Nancy
Quirk.
Quirk.
Okay.
She's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. A little quirky, but
We probably
Bam.
wanna touch base with her.
Okay.
And what else do you hope? I'm just trying to figure out what else you can do with it. I mean, it's a great opportunity, something with the community as well. How do you engage the community with this? Other than driving by and seeing it, do you have like other thoughts?
Like what do you have in mind?
I don't know, maybe it could be something related with educationally, like, what's a litter of facts? A kid, not,
So the one is called a kid.
yeah. So I don't know, like a kids program where you teach kids, maybe this will be something related with the wildlife sanctuary. I don't know, I'm just
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, just having like,
You know.
how does, public art is making, comes from a movement, it's a reaction to your current political climate. There's like, what is the message? Like, what are you trying to say?
I would say it doesn't always have to be political, but
No,
part
it
of
can
this
be
is
aesthetically beautiful too.
right.
But like, then is there like a community piece, an educational slant? Is it a like, I always wonder about the murals. With Morty the Moose, it was a statement that changed Main Street. It basically extended that entire wall, which made everybody say, "Look at me." It was so amazing, right? So then everyone was, they finally understood, oh, you can have something amazing, beautiful, and aesthetically pleasing. And it had all this fundraising slant to it and everything, the one that I see everywhere. So, which just felt a little bit more impactful, right? And then like with Pedro, it was, bringing that history bit into it, even though it hasn't happened yet, but it had that history element of the Pelicans are returning. So the question is that even though the fox looks super cool, Like, what's the story behind it?
Yep, so the Fox, obviously the Fox River and the
Yeah.
blue water behind it is like mainly that it shouldn't be looked at as a separating line, but more of a connecting line that we're not like east versus west. It's more of like a, hey, collective thing, and like the Fox River is a large reason why many of us are here. It's a reason why like Green Bay has kind of picked this spot. So that's a big reason behind it.
So is there a way to, you know, so in the blue, or maybe on the other side, you know, where there's just the brick, are you thinking about putting anything on the other side?
Based on budget and why this came about, it's a very low budget
Project?
mural and proposal, so it's mainly to get something started, and whether that leaves another wall open from people traveling west for somebody else to do something,
Mhm.
that's an opportunity
Oh,
there, but
this
this
side?
is
You mean the direct?
when you're going west, so
Oh,
the
just
east
this
side of
side?
the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there, I mean, just like, you know, maybe putting the faces of the community on there or something, you know, just to, because I didn't understand that the blue was actually supposed to, oh, I knew it was a river, I just didn't know that it actually was to have this
Mhm.
background history to it.
And that'll go on the like plaque that Old Main Street comes up with too.
Okay.
That'll go on there, yeah.
You know, just looking at this project, and now that I'm an international traveler, I went to Toronto. But one thing Green Bay doesn't have is enough public art.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of the cities that I went through, you know, on vacation, there's public art everywhere. So I'd like to see 50 more of these.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there's absolutely no reason for it, other than it's a cool thing to look at when you drive around the city, I'm like totally in favor of it. So
Yeah.
I would hope this would be a catalyst to do that on
Catalyst.
electrical boxes, or, you know, you see
Yeah,
it
yeah.
all over.
Yeah.
People just wherever they can find a flat
The
surface.
only thing
There was
is-
an alley.
All of these, don't
Just the
they
whole
need
thing.
maintenance over time?
It's a mural.
Yeah.
It will wear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
like, not for a
And
while.
so,
Yep, that's public
imagine
art.
if there was 50
Gets
of them
old,
all
you
over
gotta-
town,
If we look at the
a couple
negative side
years
of
from
it though,
now.
Yeah.
If there's,
Could be another maybe new art. I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully it's
People
a
do a mural
constant.
over it,
Mhm.
or, I kind of heard the same thing for Life of the River, because there was a big fight when we started putting pieces along the river. It was like, maintenance, they're gonna look like,
That
I'm like,
also ensures that
graffiti.
I have a future position.
Exactly.
Someone needs to take care of
Right.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it becomes more common
I mean, it's
and
not
people.
so much of like, you know, I mean, I love art,
Mhm.
right? That's why we're here. But what happens with the wear, once it starts to wear, there's a whole other issue of what happens to neighborhoods when art starts to wear down. Because it starts to look older, there's less upkeep, so then there's this element of, I'm trying to remember, like, there is actual studies shown that when certain things aren't maintained and taken care of,
Broken
then-
windows theory?
Right,
Right.
that's, sorry.
Right.
Yep.
Well, that's our job to make sure that
I was
doesn't
gonna say,
happen.
I would love to
Upkeep
have
is
that
our
problem
job.
right now,
Yeah.
because then we could have a
that
mural.
would mean we had stuff that.
That's a
didn't
good,
go
Exactly.
that's a good
Yeah.
problem to have, I think.
Yeah, well, we can't let that happen. I mean,
Right.
the
You're saying
reason,
upkeep
if
is-
that
That's our
happens, it means the city is letting its neighborhoods go to pot.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not, and
Right.
and
We can
it's the
discuss
city's
this.
responsibility to not let that happen.
Let's stay on point though, this is to do
Fox, yes.
the letter
Yeah.
of support
I-
for this
I-
project. We
yeah.
can totally talk about that,
Yeah.
but that's a
Right.
different line item.
Yeah.
I know, but then like, I just don't want like, you know, we go from mural, and then 10 years from now, we kick ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Let's bring it up in September.
I really like that, you know, I like the fox in the water, and it's on a water utility building, and it really ties all together. I think it's got a great story if you realize it's a water utility building, and the water, I recognize the water in the fox. Yeah, I thought that was cool, yeah, and maybe it's because my district straddles the river, but that's a big fight for me, because growing up, the river was a dividing line. And now it should be, it's just a feature in our city for us to utilize. And so that connecting idea, yeah.
So, any other discussion on?
Nothing, I just hear this discussion how to get more value out of it. I think just having a press release or having, would you object? You said it's a low-budget project, right? We're happy to have this painted,
No, I'm-
but would you talk and just be able to articulate the same things, like, if we had the news just watching you?
Yeah.
What is this? Well, it's
And that's every
Green
year.
Bay's effort.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had, because I think you have a press release or 2 or 3 news things of starting to work on it and blocking it out and talking to you what this is about, that'll increase your interest and it'd be no cost.
Yeah, we'll have a media event probably for this
Yeah.
unveiling type of thing. So, I think it's awesome, I'm in favor of it.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of support.
Second.
For the mural project, Felix the Fox.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Very good, it carries. So, Laura, what you're gonna need to do, is this your first letter of support?
Yep.
Okay, so Matt's gonna give you like a summary, just like a short paragraph summary of what the project's all about. And then you'll say something like it's in line with the GPPAC's mission, and we support it.
Hey, Matt, can you turn that on? Get a picture of you.
Good thing it's summer.
Perfect, this is good, let's get this on the Facebook.
Good thing it's still summer, so she can do a summary.
Here's a description, by the way.
Oh, you got it on, you already have one made,
Now-
right?
I think he has.
Matt, do you have a preference of which letter you want? Q, T,
Well, F.
F?
Felix the Fox.
Okay. Cool, all right, thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
So please get down.
Yep, yep, yep.
Good luck. So, the next step for you would then be to talk with Nancy Quirk. And you're gonna connect them, okay, sweet. Anything else you need from us?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we'll do, and then from there, it's back to Public Art Subcommittee, and then green light
Public Arts Subcommittee?
The
for
Main Street.
Old Main Street,
Oh,
Yeah.
multiple levels.
yes.
For sure.
All right, thanks, Matt. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Yeah, you guys too.
New business, update on the farming collaboration. Laura?
Since I wasn't able to make it to that last meeting, I was hoping maybe you could talk about the notes. I took some notes from the
Sure.
notes that you gave.
Basically, it was trying to get a consensus if this was something that we'd be able or be interested in participating in. And where did we come up that we felt like this was a good opportunity? We even lined up a possible event date in October, basically raising the roof type of event, bringing in the community so that they're aware of what the project is about. Because one of the things I stress is, does your neighborhood know what's going on?
Well, Alex, first
Can
maybe.
we back up?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know what the farmery is,
Yeah.
but I'm trying, what's our connection to the farmery, the PAC?
Well, my understanding of it is the farmery already had this intention of doing a Raise the Roof program in October at some point to gain awareness.
Like a fundraiser for the project?
Yes,
Mhm.
essentially. And they want to have an arts influence on their building, like whether it be sculptures, murals, and acquiring those different art pieces, I think can happen in a number of different ways according to them. One of which would be to do calls themselves for artists, and they might have a little budget, but they want arts there. They want to be branded as like an
Yeah.
arts-loving kind of entity. And so we made the connection through Alex. Was it, what's your connection with the farmery again?
Paul Linsmeyer, I've worked with him in the past.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
And he said, hey, Alex, there's this great program. And I said, well, I didn't hear about it. What is it? And so on, same questions. And I told him about how I work with youth in the arts. And I said, if you can engage the community, he goes, that's brilliant. What do I do next? And I said, well, I don't know. We'll ask questions. And this is all where we're at, exploratory.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity. I think there's outdoor space for a sculpture so that there is public access if they decide to put a sculpture there.
And also all exterior walls for potential murals. So the public entity, or public art entity is, that's what it would be. And they could, apply for the letter of support, obviously. They could apply for an annual grants program grant and get, because they're gonna be spending way more than $1,500 on their
right.
stuff. So we could answer back, and give them $1,500 for some of their project and programming. I think it's a great idea. I think the farmery is going to be really, really cool. Like in a couple of years when it starts actually getting some infrastructure up. So,
And,
we had a
just
meeting.
real quickly, the idea of deserts within our own community, with no access to
deserts.
Food
vegetables
deserts,
and
yep.
fruit.
Yeah.
So that's a big emphasis, is empowering the community, and this is what you can do. So what they hope is that maybe you can build one in your garage, or, that it extends beyond just that one
The
location.
building.
So it's educating the community on the art of gardening. Feed the belly and feed the soul via the art, basically.
Yeah. So, I think we need to discuss as a commission whether or not this is gonna be on our radar, or well, whether or not we want to encourage the relationship. And I don't see really the GBPAC participating in anything more than just doing the letter of support and providing some funds. Myself independently can help, which I'm willing to, and anybody else can help how they want. But the GBPAC, I don't think should do any more than those two things, which I think would be
It's
very
our fund.
beneficial
Mm-hmm.
so,
And there's a lot of connections already with the Neville. You had the dairy, and there we had all the foods of our community. I mean, it's just, it's kind of our language, you know?
yeah, arts and food, they often cross paths
Culinary
all the
arts,
time.
yeah.
So I guess we don't need to make any votes or anything on this,
No.
just to get it on our radar and start
Yeah,
talking about
cool. I love that, the Armory's a great project. I think
Yeah.
that- And they're actually doing things now, I mean, I think they've got the perch, right?
Yeah, they got,
It's
Yes.
operating, and they've got the
Correct.
drinks
They've got a
and
few
mushrooms
things going,
above
yeah.
it, and
so hopefully they can make art grow too.
it.
Yeah.
So the Raise the Roof event is in
Art Grow
October,
too.
and we had talked
Okay.
about potentially doing an AGP for that, a funding event. So I'd have to have some kind of public art entity to their event.
Okay, so here's a quick question. So say, for example, another art or another organization comes to us and says they're gonna have a fundraiser,
Mhm.
and they're gonna want to have public art there, and that they want to apply for the grants program to get money to have art at their fundraiser. I'm just trying to understand the motivation behind asking for the money, because it's not like we have an unlimited amount of money. So the question is this where we want to actually put, I mean, like, let me rephrase that. If a organization wants to do fundraising and they want to have art there, is that where the annual grants program funds is best used to promote
Yeah.
public art?
I think if it's public art and if it's an event, I totally get the fundraising
Because
thing. We're
fundraising-
helping them, we're leveraging their fundraising
Is it an
event.
open doors fundraiser?
That's what we need to
Like a
consider.
big, like carnival
Yeah.
type
I think a
event?
lot of it is gonna depend on the application we get.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what kind of event it is, you know what I mean, is there a fee to get in, is there, do you know what I mean, that
Right,
kind of thing?
exactly, because
Yeah.
okay, so say, there's that Meyer Theaters, you know, it's a nonprofit, they
Mhm.
come, they say they need money. Then you have the Art Garage, they come, they see, every year they have the Botanical Garden. Every single one of those guys, once they get wind that we're giving money for, just because they put a piece of public art in their fundraising event,
Yeah.
then we're because we can't deny one if we've given to the other in a
Why
way.
not?
Because they're all gonna have public art there. So what's the caliber of
Mhm.
public art? What's the accessibility of that art?
Yeah, that's what we need to weigh on the
Yeah.
application basis.
You know what I mean,
Yeah.
right, if it's
Okay.
just a strict fundraiser, it's $50 a plate or something to get in,
There's no
Right.
way.
I would vote no on
Right.
that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if they actually have a city event, where they're
Right.
gonna bring in music or
And it's
performing
free.
arts,
Absolutely,
whatever,
right, yeah.
they might even have some hands-on stuff for kids, whatever that is.
Yeah.
If they lay it out in a way that it's actually an event.
Accessibility is
That,
key to
that
it.
shows the
I
farmer, and if you're there and you happen to wanna write a check, great, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean, that might be a little
Yes.
different, so I totally agree with you on what you're saying.
Okay.
We gotta be
So
careful
the
on that.
application will determine.
The application will
our
determine, I
sensitivity.
think.
Whether or not we need it,
Okay.
okay,
Yep.
yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's just like.
And then we could always give
Oh
them
my goodness.
feedback why we denied them
Right.
or supported
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
Totally, yeah, we would do that. Okay, item number 2 is discussion with possible action on the approval of the rotating arts program and the annual grants program scoring matrix, which you have in your packet. These two things, essentially, we made these already, but Laura beefed them up and gave them more structure and made them look totally awesome.
Still a little rough though, don't talk about too much.
I looked over them and they're totally in line with what we made before, but they just look better. And-
Basically, they're pretty, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Basically, they're pretty similar. The only difference is for the annual grants program, depending on what the grant is for, these may not be applicable. But if it is, say, for like a sculpture or a mural or something like that, then that longevity of the piece and then site appropriateness, those are the only two things that got added in, just because maybe a piece is really cool, but it's just
And they're
not a
wrong.
super great
Yep.
location.
Right, yep.
So I added those onto that. as compared to the rotating arts program, because those locations are set.
Yeah.
And then I didn't put any point values on those, just because I didn't know how you wanted to split up those points, since those are new categories added on.
I think this is very good. It'll be nice to be able to
Yeah, grade.
easily
things,
go
yeah.
through them with the matrix.
Yeah, this is gonna make things a lot easier, Laura. So I guess let's look at 7 and 8 on the annual grant program. Let's give them point value. So longevity of the piece, I think, so if we're looking at the overall sums, we have a 10 group, 10-point group, a 15-point group, and then we have a 20 and a 30.
Does it go up to 100?
Yep.
Do they grade to 100?
It adds up to 100.
Okay, so what do we have? These two have to equal what? Do we have that?
Do we want this whole thing to add to 100 again, so we'd have to take away from,
You take away from the other categories.
So is it at 100 right now?
so
Yeah, it's at
site,
100 right now.
So we have to
take away.
take 10 or
Yeah.
out the front.
The site appropriateness, I would put that at 10 points. So it is a value, but a low-end value, I would say. And then longevity of the piece, I'd also put that at 10.
So if you put 10 and 10 here,
It means we have
you
to
would
take
take away.
20 from the, yeah.
Could you just go 5, 5,
We could do that.
10, 10?
We could
No,
do that.
5, 5, 10.
It'd be
Oh,
5, 5, 5, 5.
So all of this entire column goes down by 5. But does that, are we taking away from something that needs to have
More
that
weight.
weight?
Overall aesthetic, I think should remain at 30, because that's like the artwork.
Yeah.
Public art value, I could see taking 5 away from that. Any other thoughts?
The experience, I mean, what if you have a,
5 off of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So 5 off of
Originality,
experience.
too. Originality, you could take 5 off of that.
Originality, okay.
Yeah, because everything's inspired by something.
Okay, so we have 5 off on public art, so that's 15 here, so that's 5 off originality. I would say that's okay. That one
Because
becomes
overall
10.
aesthetic will then bring it back in.
Experience, 5 off of that, so that one becomes 10. So that means we have 15, we need to take 5 more.
5 somewhere else.
You know what, maybe the overall aesthetic, even though it's important, even at 25, it's 10 higher than
That's right.
the 15. So
Okay.
we take 5 off
Let's
of
do
that
that.
one, maybe.
Okay.
How about 2 here and 2 there?
That would give you 100, right?
Yeah, that will give us 100. So that means these are worth 10 points each, longevity and site appropriateness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you, say you're giving an annual grant to an event or something like that, where it isn't a
That's,
long withstanding piece, would you just have like a contingency plan, like, okay, temporary, we'll move those 20 points to these set categories then?
Yeah,
in that
just-
case?
Or I think you could just say that this will be 90, will be 90
Yes.
points, and you
Okay.
all eliminate when you're scoring it. You know what I
correct.
mean? You
I
can,
agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because this fits art with a sculpture piece,
Right.
what about a musical performance or a dance
Mhm.
performance?
Yeah.
I mean, there's public value, there's
Yep.
access, there's other dimensions that might be important.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, because I've actually never seen what the charter is for the granting.
The guidelines, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see that on our website.
okay.
It's
We can get you that.
public.
Okay, if you tell me the website, I'll look through that too. But again, this is a matrix for,
greenlightwith.gov/PAC.
Yeah, if
But
it's
I
up,
can email it to you.
email it to them, Laura, because
that's
I
right.
think we're working on our website, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little rough
Might be a little rough right now.
I'm so excited for this new website.
I know.
Oh my
Me
God.
too.
I love this, it's open to interpretation, but at least it's a guideline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
it's
each of
all
us
in-
interprets it a different way.
all on the same page.
Yeah.
is
So,
that on the grant?
uh,
Wow, that should be part of the grant.
Can I get a motion to pass this new AGP grading?
Motion to pass, to
Second.
adopt or pass,
Adopt.
whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Good, that's done. And the rotating art program one, we don't need to make a motion because it's as is,
Right.
I think. Very good. Any other questions, Laura? You good on that? Cool. Okay.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Good
you for
job.
doing that. That was great. Discussion with possible action on the approval of request for proposal for the grant-funded project. This is the WPS thing that we had the special meeting on.
Okay, we can give you an update
Yes.
on kind of what we found out about some of these things. So we had a chance to sit down with Celestine and talk to her about the sculpture, which is sculpture was like a year and a half ago. They made this donation to the city of Green Bay for the sculpture. You guys all know the history, right? Because of the maintenance and the project cost, the original proposal's not going to work. So
With
that's why
Synovus.
we're going out with Synovus. That's why we're going out for RFP, and they can, of course, apply again, Synovus if they'd like to. But we had a couple of items that we had talked about at the last meeting. One of them being stipend for public arts coordinator. Talking with Celestine in her conversations with WPS, she did not think that that would be possible. That WPS was like, look, we gave you the money, you know, and rightly so. They have been very generous with this donation to the city, and we haven't been able to get it off the ground. But then when Laura and I talked about time and how much time she's spending on things, and when she might have more time to work on it, we backed off this date with regards to submittal for proposals.
Okay.
So originally it was in September, and we said, what about if it's in December that the proposals are due? Because then we'll have the rotating
That
arts
was
piece.
February.
Yeah.
Well, in the original it was September. They
Right.
want this piece in, they want the piece in like yesterday. So I'm like, well, that's not gonna happen this year. In all reality, the earliest it's gonna be is next summer sometime. So we just backed it up. She said, but WPS wants to know the artist and the piece by the end of the year. So that was their request, that
wanna
they
see
have.
some sort of action.
They want to,
taken.
right, they want to know that this is going to happen next year. So we just said, well, if we could, I think it's possible by the end of this year, that gives us 3 months
To do the request for a proposal?
to do the RFP and at least know, you know, we've got a pool of people to go, to come, you know what I mean? And-
Okay. That's-
And then we
that's-
can work through the deadlines. I mean, once we kind of know what we're going to do, we can work through those deadlines for the installation.
So the feeling that I'm getting is that now, okay, so WPS, were they requested to donate this money, or did they actually just want to give this money to the city?
They donated the money to the city.
So it came out of their own idea? It wasn't the
Yes.
city asking for this money?
Correct.
Okay, so now that they, from their own will, decided to donate this money to the city, now they're putting timelines and like pressure on the city?
No, Pooja, they
I'm
made
just
this
trying to
donation
understand.
almost 2 years ago. As a donor, they donated money to the city, expecting an art piece to be installed
Yep.
within a year.
And then there
And
was some chitter chatter, and then there was a
Right.
project picked, and then it didn't work out, and I mean,
Right.
they know the history behind that, so
Right,
it's
but they
not
weren't a
that-
part of that.
They were
donated
not?
Well, they donated the money, right? And it was our responsibility to get the piece up as the city.
But it was contingent on the Synovus, though?
Yes.
Like, Synovus and WPS were working together also.
They really were.
Right, but there's no money for the maintenance. That was the issue, right?
Right, yeah,
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, what I'm
but-
saying
but-
is, well, see, on one hand, if they were never part
Yeah,
of
they
the
didn't really
picking
just
the
give us
art.
the money.
But the thing is, they picked Synovus,
Mhm.
correct?
I don't
think
know.
so, yes.
Yes, I
that's-
think so too.
Yeah, I thought so too, yeah.
Yeah, so if they knew all along what had happened, they knew there was something that was going on, it didn't quite work out, and then, so now, you know, and all of this. So then to put, I'm just saying, you know, if I wasn't
Sure.
being part of this commission, to then being put to, like, you know, to take on this responsibility, and, okay, on one hand, have we had any submissions for our other program? Okay, so we still don't have that, how can we guarantee that we're gonna have something
Okay,
by
this,
December 1st?
okay, this is how I'm looking at it. If the PAC does not do this project, I will.
Oh.
Celestine will, city staff will do it. We will find a way to get this art piece up.
Because it's.
And then the PAC will be like, well, thanks PAC, but do we need a PAC? But clearly we have city staff that can do this, put this public artwork up, right?
Mhm.
Because we have to get this, we have a commitment to WPS to put this art piece up. So we will gather a team somehow to, we will anyway, you know, Laura would not do this on her own anyway, we're gonna do that anyway, but
Okay.
why would we as the PAC?
Okay.
No, I'm not
Laura's
saying-
not
No,
gonna
no, let
do
me
this
finish.
on her own.
I'm just saying that, you know, like I'm feeling kind of a negative vibe here, and I think we need to have a positive vibe here,
No, I
because this
think it's
is
a great
because
thing.
this is an opportunity for
Yes.
us as the PAC to put almost $100,000 art piece up in the city, right? And if
Yes.
WPS says, look, we'd really like some kind of answer by the end of the year, I think
Sure.
we can get that done.
The first thing I got here is awesome,
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
Okay,
But like we need to do
But-
this properly.
Yeah, it's a huge
Like,
piece.
I
So-
get that. And at the table, I can say that I'm one of probably the few people who've actually put larger pieces up in the city, so I understand
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah.
I don't think this is an unreasonable ask.
So how about this?
Okay.
Myself, I mean, if we can't, if we try and we fail, at least we tried.
Okay.
If we just push back and say, look, that it's not gonna happen till February or March,
Right?
I don't know, you know what I mean?
And
It's-
if we try and fail, we can bring that to them and see, you know, you had this thing going,
Yeah.
it didn't work out, we've tried
we got
this, we want to do
process.
this
We got it
right.
out.
It's just, we need a little more time.
This is what I
It's gonna
think we should
be,
do. So you said they'd like something by this
December
year.
1st.
They
Okay.
at least like to know.
By December 1st.
How about we
Right,
do-
or
'cause we
just
have-
the end of the year, let's say the end of the
Oh.
year, they wanna know
Yeah.
like, okay, do you have an artist? Do you have any idea of
So
a
the
concept?
timeline that we discussed at our subcommittee, or at our special meeting was, we do the request for proposal in November, December.
Right.
And then the deadline for
Yep.
those RFPs would be February.
So we, right,
But
so
that's- that
if we
doesn't work.
could somehow get an answer by December, so maybe if we back that up to October,
October, November, and then we have.
at least we'd have
Deadline by
submissions.
December.
You know what I
December.
mean?
So the
Yeah.
deadline would be late September, late December then?
Right.
So we have that
So,
deadline, we wouldn't have.
I could say, let's say I'm hoping that we put an RFP out, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get at least a handful of applications, because
Right.
I'm thinking it's gonna have to be a national search.
$80,000.
I think so.
Local but national, right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we'll need.
So,
yeah.
at least if we come into the end of the year with 10 proposals that, okay, maybe we didn't have time to vet them,
Yeah.
we're gonna vet them in January, we
Yeah.
can go to WPS and
Say we
say,
have 10 of these awesome things.
bam,
we
we've got
just
10
have to pick.
applications, we're vetting them out, we'll have a decision by
I think
February.
that's.
That will be helpful, I
It's
think.
really important that we do that.
I do.
Okay.
I
So-
do. Just to,
so
you know,
it's
we have a
not
good
like a-
relationship with WPS, not.
Right.
It's not
No.
like a, do it and we take the money
Right,
away, but
no.
it's more of a.
We'd really
We're
like this.
making
to
progress.
happen.
Okay,
Yeah.
so-
You have
so
a
it's like
timeline,
10.
here's your
Okay, 'cause
paper,
having
here's
that
3
December
things we've
1st
got.
on our
I mean,
deadline,
something
I was
ever-
like,
Some work
Can we
we
say December 31st?
can move forward on.
that would
Okay.
be nice. At the 3, that's
also-
a lot.
But December 31st is the
Yeah, I know,
due
they're,
back.
yeah.
Prop-
yeah.
Not the project completion,
No,
but,
no, right.
so,
Do you want to make the deadline December 31st?
make the deadline December 31st,
Okay.
because that means your application needs to be in if you're an artist.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna lose our integrity in any way, but it's a process of art education
Right.
on both sides. And here's a great opportunity, so
Also,
it's gonna be a learning.
And I would
Definitely.
love more people to give us money.
Yeah.
I just like to make
Yes.
one thing clear, like, the GBPAC, this is awesome, we
Yes.
totally want to do this, we want more of this stuff to happen.
Exactly.
Our concern is, do we have the manpower within the GBPAC to do this and to get it off successfully? But you said you might
I
have
think-
some people helping.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because even though Laura's gonna be the point person for this
Yeah.
project, I'm involved, Celestine will be involved, Parks will
That's
be
awesome.
involved,
That's
Public
great.
Works
Okay.
will be involved, because there's gonna be power and placement and concrete, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right,
And
right.
it
If she
also
has the
presents
support.
A
Right.
great opportunity to be like, hey, look at how much manpower this project took.
Or
Right.
then we'd have a
Really
case
invest
study,
more.
and
Yeah.
then we'd know
A
how to
case study.
finance ourselves in the future with
This is
things
and we
great.
can
like this.
Okay.
get our name on it, which will be nice.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
something in it, so.
Okay, so,
That's my pitch.
this is great, so I'm getting, so let me just
that
sort
was
of
a fastball, that
summarize
went
this.
like, that was good.
We want to do this, the GBPAC wants to take this on. We will have a request for proposal that'll go out in October.
Yeah.
And the deadline for that proposal will be December 31st.
End
We-
of the year, yep.
And then the award will probably be in January or February.
January or February, because you need fabrication time.
Okay. Oh, no, this is just the award.
Yep,
So we'll tell the winner, you got done. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
and I need
They
to
So-
need
make
monies
it.
to be
We
able
still
to-
want to do July 4th as the unveiling?
You know, that's, I mean, I think we can look at that. That all depends, I think, on the piece and how long it'll take and that type of stuff. We just always did the 4th because a lot of people
It's,
don't know.
yeah.
That makes
So-
sense.
Well,
But
there's
that could be
Memorial Day,
changed.
too.
This is actually going to give the artists more fabrication time, so I
It all
think-
depends on the piece, I think. If there's a piece we get that's way cool and like, oh, look, I can't make July 4th, I'm gonna need whatever. We can move that date, but
Okay, but we can
put it in next
usually,
summer.
usually in the timeline, there's an installation date.
Yep.
So we can have that date, but just know that it's floating potentially.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So, does that sound good? October?
Why do we want to wait until October to send this out?
Well, no later than. We can say
Oh,
no
okay.
later than October.
That's right.
If we get done sooner, we'll ship it out.
Okay.
This is the actual RFP that's gonna get sent out, correct?
Yeah.
Should we look
Maybe
through
we'll
this
plan
really
it out.
quick?
We
Yeah,
said we
I
need to
made
add some
those.
base fixture plan and footing requirements, maybe
That's
add
right.
onto here, right?
Mhm. Or just base material,
They
Yeah.
wanted that included in like the illustrations that they're gonna be doing.
Mhm.
yeah.
Um,
So this hasn't actually been updated since our last. time.
No, this
Okay.
is the old one, I think.
Oh, no, then that's
Yeah.
fine. So then we had some of those points, then those
Yeah.
points would be added, and then we can approve it, and then it would get put
Mhm.
out to the
Yep.
world. Okay.
So, in our mid,
Which also, when we met with Celestine, she had mentioned locations, because that was something that we were
Mhm.
concerned about too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. So if they already have a location in mind, then having that plan put into the actual
do they have a location?
packet would work.
Well,
It's
they're actually
narrowed
looking
down.
at, they're looking at potentially the 911 site
Okay,
at the Neville-ish area.
that seems like it would be good.
You know, because that's a pretty prominent piece, and
Yeah.
if it's interactive, I don't know, that's a potential site.
But that would be permanent, right?
This is a permanent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Oh, but you're right, because
Yes.
we're looking at that as a
Yeah,
rotating.
but
Yes.
maybe, you know.
So-
I mean,
Okay.
Potentially there. I think we had talked about some area actually on the west side of the river. I think the museum, like the county owns the museum land, but then the city owns like adjacent to the trail as well. So there's a potential site there, but there's not, they really, WPS I think really wanted it downtown.
They wanted it by the city deck too, right?
Well,
Oh,
I
this is the
think,
east
I think
side,
they've
yeah.
said, I think they
Downtown.
went to downtown,
Yeah.
Okay,
to the downtown, east or west side.
okay.
So, so I
They're
think
open.
those are a couple of the sites,
Yeah.
but they're gonna be
20 foot by 20
20
foot
foot by
space.
24.
It's a big space.
Almost the size of a house.
That's awesome, though. So,
You know? Just build
are we
a
gonna have to have
house.
a conversation then
Metal
with Steve, like to finalize the location before we do this?
Yes,
Or
it's
do we
essential, I think,
want
to any
to?
artist to
think-
be able to see the space and be able to visualize something in that space.
I feel like it would depend on what the piece is.
I think we should make this location before the piece, and
Yeah,
then the
it-
pieces will be
yes.
made for the space.
Yes.
That's easier to do.
Yeah, we could do that. I think they need to decide.
20 foot by 20 foot spot, that's gonna be very open to the artist's interpretation,
Yeah.
like no matter where it is, so.
It's nice to know where you're putting a piece, especially in this size, you know, is it gonna overshadow a certain space that you want to actually highlight? You know, there's a lot of environmental impact that could occur because of the piece, because it's huge. It's the size of a house. And then, of course, the shadows and everything that you would be playing
Yeah.
with, you know.
So-
Depending if they wanna take the entire space.
Can we do
Right.
that? Can we have a meeting with Steve and, or maybe at September? Is that something we can discuss with him?
Well, I don't know if it'd be Steve. It depends where the,
Oh,
where
could
the
be
land
parks,
is.
right?
It could be parks, it could be
Mhm.
public
But do
works.
we
it
wanna narrow it
could be,
down?
Who needs to identify this location?
Well, I think we would probably work
Ultimately.
on that. I don't know if Celestine had some other options in mind.
I was gonna say, I think those were the two that she had mentioned.
Right,
Does she need to
at
talk
this
to
point.
WPS as far as their approval of it?
It depends where it is. It depends what site it is. Is that county-owned site where the 911 is, or is that city? That's city-owned?
It's all city.
Yeah,
That
city
probably-
owned because.
That would be,
Parks.
that
Right,
would be,
because of this.
is it parks or is it
It would be
public
so
works?
cool if it was on someplace close to the city deck, like,
On the east side?
yeah. Because people are already there, but maybe we could use this piece to draw people to the west side of the river
Mhm.
also. Where would you all like to see it? Like, best place, let's just throw it out there.
I don't know if I have a particular spot in mind that.
Any of that, any downtown anywhere?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, just a prominent spot. There's several possibilities.
Mhm.
I'm amendable to any of those,
Mhm.
you know.
You know, it's a big spot. There's not a lot of spots
Yeah.
downtown. That's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's it's as big as
Oh,
a
you
house.
bringing up a
Pooja.
map?
I
Great.
know. It's totally as big. No, trust me, I've been looking at a lot of houses that are even smaller than that. Okay. So here we
So
are.
someplace
That
that's
doesn't mean
close
the piece
to
maybe is that big, though.
No, no, I
Mason
know,
Street?
but
No.
I mean, you have to think about.
Walnut or
You know,
Scotsman?
Yeah,
piece
I
and-
mean, you know, when you're thinking of a three-dimensional object, you're not just thinking of it on a flat plane. You're thinking of it going up, and then the shadows, and you know, what does it do to the environment? How are people going to interact
Well, and the
with
whole
it?
point is it's supposed to be interactive, right?
Mm-hmm.
this piece, so-
If you could see it from Dousman or Walnut, I think that'd be advantageous, like if it's close. So I was thinking like right here, Dousman, like if we could do it someplace over here, I don't know if it's possible, but this would be awesome.
Isn't that where the new building is?
Yeah, no, that building's there.
Right.
There's space
It-
here.
Yeah, but isn't that all wooden, these
Yeah,
wooden?
we'd
yeah.
have to
But
do
that's-
something.
Isn't that by the, or is that all city? With-
Oh,
with
look
those-
at that. How'd you
Fancy,
do
fancy.
that?
Just at the same.
So like, right here, I
Well,
think would be
hold on.
awesome
You know,
if we made a barge.
a floating
Bar.
piece on the water?
I mean, the 9/11 piece, that is like.
See, there's this,
prime
there's
location.
this, I don't know what this park area
Well, that's
is.
pretty far out of the way, though. I
Is
mean,
it?
that's by,
It's behind- it's
that's by
behind-
That's
WPS.
not city-owned property, that's.
Oh,
What about right here?
Oh, right here? By
Yeah,
the historical marker?
yeah, historical marker area, or is that city?
That would be, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Sure, you mean Zachary?
But
Yeah.
it's so curved,
But you already got
That's
a
the
piece
east side of the
there.
river.
Mhm, that's
sorry?
the side.
You already got a
That's the
piece
east side.
there, you know, I mean.
No, that's the east side, that's not Lights Park.
Yeah, light.
Oh.
that's
over here.
Lash.
It's the east side.
Yeah, Thousman.
Oh, yeah, that's a spot I've been wanting, because you can see it from Lights Park. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
you can.
that's a spot that I'm very interested in getting something in,
So
but
the
I-
historical marker is a possibility, huh?
there's a historical marker there?
Yes.
Really?
That's
Apparently.
where Abraham Lincoln came over on the Mayflower.
Flower. Ah. Yeah, I remember that now.
And planted the first apple tree right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this all city-owned, this bit right here?
Most of it, some of it's
Isn't
owned
this W,
privately.
oh,
Yeah,
this is Green Bay
that's
City
not
Utility.
downtown.
Yeah, you're in Astor.
Yeah.
This is Astor.
Okay, so I think maybe we could research that area, the
Mhm.
historical marker.
Mm,
Let's look on the west
Okay,
side
we'll
real
look
quick.
up there now, I don't remember.
Here, this.
No, further this way. So in between Walnut and Dousman probably we're looking at.
Right, yep.
So that's the 9/11.
Here's your 9/11 right here.
There's the park, there's Neville.
Mm.
I mean, that area would be good too, I guess.
Isn't there, but this seating area,
It's way
It's-
less traveled over here.
yeah, but it's a nice place too, just, it's really the only, when you cross from Broadway over, it's really the only place for kids to really play and enjoy, and the parents can walk around the memorials and you look at it. I mean, that's what a lot of moms and kids do, and I see that,
Mhm.
that's how I found the place.
Okay, the other option, I think, and I envisioned some like interactive, like space sculptures, like we could walk through them, the sculptures all around you kind of. That could happen on city deck, like over here or over here with footings, I mean.
I don't think we're gonna be able to put any pieces on the deck.
Okay, so you think we should rule that
No,
out?
not on the deck.
No, they
No,
won't let us put anything
that
on the
won't work.
deck.
All right.
Because we've talked about that in the past.
Is there any other spaces in between here, like nooks or anything, Cheryl, that you could think of, or is this city
I'd
property
have to
to
look
this
at it.
band of?
Well, this
That's
is
the
all.
new building, though.
This is a building here now.
That new building with the weird, like you can walk down.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But is this like green space right here still there?
No, that's, I think,
The foundation.
There might be a
runs
little
like
green space,
that.
but there's definitely, there's, maybe in a different time, we should talk about the area under this bridge, which is wide open.
Yes.
And
Murals,
we
cool
attempted
stuff.
to do something,
Yeah.
the GBNLC did a number of years ago, but.
I was.
You're talking about where the fish are?
No,
No. So
under
this
the
is really
bridge,
our
under the
best bet.
Nitschke Bridge.
I think so.
Oh, yeah, under
Covered
this
area
bridge,
that's-
yeah.
I was gonna.
Yeah.
this is really our best bet.
Okay.
So, if it's the historical marker, like what, I wish I could click on it and it tells me what it's all about.
Oh.
But it doesn't.
Oh,
Okay, well, let's put that on the back burner.
yeah, we don't have to figure that out.
No.
540.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to do this, and does that, you think this timeline's gonna jive, Cheryl? Like, think that's okay?
I do.
Okay. Okay.
Well, and a lot of it's gonna be finding where the artists are. That's the hardest part, is getting this RFP out
Mhm.
to the artists, right?
Yeah, putting it in their faces.
So they know about it, so
Yeah.
I think.
And did it have to be local or?
I don't think they have to be local. I think what we've done in the past, at least for the stuff along the river, I think we gave a preference to
Couple
Wisconsin artists.
points, like off the bat. if it was just-
But we have a number of artists that, we had some local, some that aren't.
I think that's a good idea, Cheryl. I like that. You're talking about doing nationally,
Mhm.
which is good. We could get some outstanding pieces, but then giving a preference,
Mhm.
like 5 points to Wisconsin on the matrix.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Let's,
So this historical marker has significance. You can't just keep it there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to move
It's on the
historical
opposite
markers.
side, it's not Zachary Taylor.
No.
It's called
no, it's on the other- it's on the east side,
It's
by
the
the
one
hotel.
about Green Bay Road,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that on the inventory that the students did?
the marker itself,
Yeah.
it has, it's just this. There's nothing to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like about how the Green Bay citizens petitioned for a road to Chicago.
Might be a marker that could be moved.
Along the
'Cause
road.
We'll have to see.
Yeah,
who
along
owns
the
that.
road, as long as it's along the
We'll
road.
have to see who
This
owns
long space
who
too.
owns that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion that the GBPAC will accept the responsibility of this WPS grant-funded project based on this timeline and the jobs allocated to Laura and potentially some other Green Bay staffers?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Nay. Very good, okay, so we're doing it, this is awesome, thank you WPS. So number 4, discussion with possible action on the allotted funds from Alderman Stoyer from the music festival that didn't come through. This is Randy's communication that he made. You got an update for us?
Well, the thing is, I think if we can go to council and say, show them how we could use these funds, hopefully they will see the benefit of allocating those funds to us. So I think if we can come up with something to show council how we would use these funds.
So we'd share with them our budget, and then we'd put $50,000 more into it and say, this is what we could potentially
Yeah.
get out of this.
Why don't we, this was, Alderman Story wanted to do like a
Music festival, yeah, so
festival at some
I
point.
think if,
Why don't we designate it for music-related events?
Sense.
Through the PAC or something.
Yep.
If we make that request. I don't know where Alderman Story is on this or what
I
the
don't
deal
think
is,
he's
but,
anywhere.
but I mean, if that would be a request we'd make, I would just say we designate it for music-based events, maybe.
Right, and then if
Special
we,
program
How
we
about
could
that
set
be
up, or,
an option if they don't like it or something? Like, I think the best case scenario is that $50,000 just gets folded into GBPAC's working budget.
yeah.
But if
But I
they
mean,
have a
if,
problem,
if they're looking for, I was just thinking, we were talking about the Ignite that happened. What a great event for
Yeah.
the city. Oh, man, and there was music there and a lot of other things, but,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need like 10 more of those
Mhm.
in
Is
the
the
summer.
city contributing to the Homeland Experience? That's September 15, 16.
What's that?
I don't know what that is.
Homeland Experience
I don't know
is
what they are.
Corey Chisel from the Appleton area. So the Milo Music
Mhm.
coordinator is bringing an all-day Friday into Saturday, and it's leading into on Broadway's Ignite Market.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't,
So-
I don't know. if
We're a
we have the
venue.
city.
What's
But
September what?
we're gifting the space to Homeland Experience.
Yeah.
So where will Ignite be then in
So
September?
Ignite, the location is Pearl to Hubbard,
Okay.
and that's also Titletown's Oktoberfest.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's
It's
going
gonna
to
be
be a big
crazy.
event.
So this is on September.
Friday the 15th.
Okay.
So the idea would be that Friday the 15th, like right after work until performances, you know, we're staying open, I think, till 9, so we'll probably have, and then it's Saturday morning, all day, until 5, and then you're supposed to kind of segue into the night market.
Oh,
Mhm.
Okay.
that's way cool.
So
Yeah.
that's something that's, and again, and I'm not sure how all that came to be,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
Well, that would be, I think this money is really, that's going to be council action. Council
Right.
will need to decide on.
right, that's
Whether
why
they
I
just
would
wanna
like,
move it, or-
if we could, in
We
our.
know this money
Put
exists.
a packet together of what we would do with that kind of money,
Yeah.
a proposal, you know, and show that to the council and say, give us that money, this is what it can do, and hopefully I'll make a pitch and everything, and maybe you can say something
So,
or whatever.
first of all, we know that this money exists.
Yeah.
It's in somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
I can find
If it
Yeah.
was budgeted, then it's there.
Okay, then would we, in this packet that we present to the common council, would we need anything more than just our budget? Like, what would be?
No,
No,
I-
maybe a proposal.
proposal of different kinds of things we would do with that money.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay, so we'll
It
just-
doesn't
Like
have to be-
option A, we'll do this with it, option B, we would use it for this.
Yep. Different kinds of things, you know, and music, I think definitely we need to include a musical component. I think because sometimes, I don't know if the council really is aware that we are going to be trying to promote music, not just, they're thinking of just sculptures and murals
Right,
and painting, you know,
right.
but we are, and performances, you know. So I think if we can outline some things and add some detail to that of, you know, what we will be doing, and present that to the council, that'll educate the council a little bit more about what we are.
Okay.
And hopefully convince them that, that $50,000 is not doing anything where it is, and
Right.
it would be better
So do you want to have Laura do that before September? Like, is that?
Where is your communication going, do you know?
It's here.
It's so the communication comes to the PAC?
Yeah, I made the communication to the PAC, so now
So
it
does
will
that
be
work then?
reported out in our PAC
Oh, okay.
to the council, and I was hoping that we could include what we do as part of the packet
Okay.
to go with, you
Then the
know.
report would be approved, and then that would make the allocation might change? Okay.
Yep,
I didn't know if it had to go to finance, or if
Nope.
it had to go, okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't know where that money is.
I'm not
You know
sure
what I mean?
either, but I think wherever it is,
I think.
because finance, I don't think Story would need to go to finance or whatever to use that money if he had something going. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
because the money's been allocated, it's just sitting there. Stoyer could grab that if he had something going, he doesn't have anything
How about
going yet,
this?
so we could,
We need to find out where that money is before Laura does any work, I think. So if you could do that, or if we could figure out where that money is, then maybe we can give Laura the green light to put this packet together.
Well, regardless of where the money is, though.
Yeah.
The PAC
the
wants
money's
it.
there.
We need
It's
to,
budgeted somewhere.
Okay.
So.
We don't need to know.
we need to have a proposal.
We don't need to
because-
we don't have to go through any other committee or
Right.
anything.
But we
No.
have an existing, we already have it, you already got an existing packet.
Right.
We don't really have to do too much to that, or do we?
No.
Not too much.
Rotating, well, right now, if we're just gonna say we'd like the money in the PAC, we've got admin, rotating
Yeah.
arts. and
Okay, so that's what we
visual
base our-
program, Right.
Right.
That's the basic. Now, if we wanted to, we could add a music,
I think we need
specific
to.
music component to
Mhm.
that
And
agenda.
music and performance.
Performance.
You know,
Music
that-
and performance,
Yep.
so that would, because it was set aside for a music festival, so,
Right.
we could set something aside
Who does the
for.
4th of July? I know that's fun, and we have bands, and that's, it's understood that who does that?
What's the name of that? Not the city. The city got no money in that.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Okay.
It's,
Rather than maybe support
Rick,
services.
Peruski, not.
I'm trying to think of the organization though, what?
Well, it's Celebrate
It's
America.
Festival Foods,
Is it PMI, or is it?
yeah, PMI.
PMI
PMI,
runs
Festival
that.
Foods.
Okay.
PMI Festival.
Runs the actual
Hey,
event,
I'm just
right?
No,
thinking
it's
how other
Rick.
cities do
It's-
it. Mile
it's a
Music's another
gentleman out of
example,
here, it's
Door
Rick
County.
Peruski,
Oh, okay.
and it's it's not Event Pro, but it's Event.
Some type of an outside vendor runs the 4th of July
Okay.
downtown.
Okay, so in this proposal, we'd have a music performance piece. What would it say? Like,
Well,
there-
basically, like, if, the Green Bay Public Arts Commission, what do we do? What do we want to do in the future? Using
Mhm.
the additional 50,000 would really help us to expand on these programs, or to envision that we could have and support these programs, in the arts and performance and blah, blah, blah. And that, since the money has not been used,
Sure.
since it has been granted, we would like to request the money to be then transferred to the GBPAC,
Right.
so that we can then execute upon.
how about this? Half of the money goes towards our annual grants program, our rotating arts
No,
program.
no, no,
You
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
to
no,
talk
no, no,
about
no,
that.
no,
You
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
to
no,
talk
We don't have to talk about.
No, no, no,
You
no,
just
no, no, no.
request that the funds be reallocated to the GBPAC to support our programming and our future.
And if
support
Alder
of programs.
Stoyer does come up with a musical program, he can come to us and we
And we
will.
could grant him that,
That sounds fine.
reallocate that money.
Okay, I thought we wanted to have something specific.
No, 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 no.
Music.
No,
Cheryl, is that
just-
what you intended, or?
I've seen council meetings, I think the more information council members get, the
Right,
better.
the more
on what we
information,
do.
but I don't think we want to have money
Divvied up.
divvied up into certain allocations. I think we wanna,
I would just present our programs, what we
Right.
do, our
Yeah.
programs,
Right.
right?
yeah,
Right.
And then just ask if
Say
the money.
that
Right,
by.
right.
Okay.
So our
reallocating
language
money.
is here, all we gotta do is add
Right.
music.
Right.
Right.
And performance.
exactly.
And, you'll be,
Okay.
you'll be at the council and like
I'm
pitching this,
skipping that.
if you, I think you need to be at that one. But you could offer that up if that, if Alderman Stoyer would really like to see some type of.
yeah, I was going to, yeah.
You can say,
Okay.
well, we could designate a portion.
Do we need to decide right now what that paragraph is for Laura, or as far
I
as
think
we
we can.
just-
just generic?
Yeah.
Just
Right.
a
Music and
generic,
performance.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So then,
Music and performance.
Music and-
More
can
you
I get a
punch out,
motion
better, but yeah.
to go to the common council with a packet that would include what we just talked about?
Intentions for performance and music. Yeah.
Intentions for the GBPAC, including
Mhm.
Yes.
performance and music. Can I get a motion?
I mean, so moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Very good. Okay, thanks for coming up with that.
Hey. it's
No
all right.
bills. Okay, chairman's report. So the finance subcommittee, I think we should have put together, maybe by next meeting.
Fundraising subcommittee?
Is that what we're gonna call it?
Yeah, it's
Finance and
fundraising.
fundraising, okay.
Yeah.
Fun, but just like, okay, I'm gonna go to people and ask them to sit on our board. Like, what's more appealing?
No, it's a subcommittee, so
Right,
they're not
sitting on the board of the
I would even
subcommittee.
call it a subcommittee, I'd call it a cabinet, campaign cabinet.
Campaign cabinet.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because they're not, it's not a vote, it's
No.
not a, it's just a group of folks that are getting together to help raise money.
Okay, so this
For
is the
public arts.
GBPAC cabinet,
Campaign
campaign
cabinet.
cabinet.
Mhm.
Okay. That sounds much better.
Yeah.
So, Carl BC? Does anybody know Carl BC? So he's the guy that emailed us about wanting to do murals downtown. I had a long conversation
Oh.
with him.
Mhm.
He wants to help, he wants to volunteer. He has a marketing and business background, and so I said, would you be interested in participating in this whatever kind of subcommittee we're calling it? And he said yes.
I think that's what we should call it.
Right, that's great.
And so Carl BC, and also Jason Jilg, who we know, he's interested very much in participating on it
Great.
with a business and marketing background.
The
So-
person I'm meeting this morning too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
great.
Why I got her.
great. Okay, so we have some names put together. How many people do we think we want on this? And do we want anybody from this commission to be on that? I should probably go?
You would be a member of that.
Probably vice president also.
It's all up, people fundraise for a lot of different things, so it's really
Yeah.
wherever anybody's at to
Okay.
assist with that
Okay.
fundraising thing. But you
Would be
probably
good.
want a cabinet, I think our cabinets
might-
have been like 7 to 9 people maybe.
Yeah, you the more the merrier, because then you have more people with their connections going out there.
Touche.
You know, getting their feelers out, trying to pull as many people as they can. If all of them overlap, then you're asking the same pool. So you want to have
Yeah.
a diverse group
Good.
of people from different walks of life.
You can count me in if there's,
Okay.
if the schedule.
See, it's a matter of scheduling those meetings.
Yeah.
Cheryl, can we use this space to hold our meetings?
Yeah, I don't think so.
We can?
Just have to reserve the room.
Okay. Programming outreach, so we haven't had anybody apply for our programs yet.
No.
And we need to have people apply so that we can give out some money.
Did you talk to a couple of people?
I haven't.
Okay.
I've been
Maybe.
like baby time.
Yeah.
That's all I've been doing.
Babies, that takes so much time.
Did you have, no. You didn't
Yes.
have a baby?
Baby.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
picture.
there's a picture
Oh,
of the baby.
Lunabelle.
But he didn't
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
baby.
I know,
This is
yeah.
wife.
You had nothing to do with it, you had nothing to do with it.
I got
Thank you
it.
for that.
Congrats.
Yes.
You had nothing to do with it.
Thank you. So yeah, I've
So
been on
he
baby
looks, still
time.
he looks like the same.
Congrats to your wife.
He's
I'm really sore.
Got a shake back already.
So, but I will. If not this week, next week, I'm gonna make calls to all my artist friends, and we're gonna get some application on there, guaranteed. The annual grants program, that's something we're gonna need to do a lot of programming on, though.
So, did we do a press release on Rotating Arts?
Yeah.
We did? But did anybody call you from the media or anything like that?
Yeah,
Were any stories run, or, because I haven't seen any?
No,
I was on the
haven't
news.
seen it either.
I was on Channel 11
Yeah.
with, what's her name, Abigail something?
Okay.
So I talked about it then. She was doing a
Yep.
whole piece on public art, and so she wanted
Okay.
to interview. And so I made a plug on there, and I watched it. It was it's a plug.
Okay, okay.
And
But we
then you
need.
had the interview with Press Gazette.
yep.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it
Was it- did it run in the
so
paper?
under the radar.
I know, why?
Yeah, I missed that.
And
I
you
like
were on
the paper.
TV too, I
Can you
As
push
well,
those
Laura,
pieces
right?
through the Facebook page?
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so I wonder
Were you
if this
on
thing
TV?
needs to be bigger.
Yeah,
I
why not?
wonder if we need to go stand in front of the actual locations and have a segment piece where we walk from location, or we go from location to location.
Yes.
And we talk about how having a piece here would impact this, this community. And, so that whoever will be willing to do a segment piece, because it'll run for a period of time, right? And then there needs to be way more outreach, because I feel like this is all just getting, with everything that's
Yes.
happening, it's not really,
We're not getting in front of the faces of the people who need to see.
yeah, there's other things that are bigger and crazier that are always overshadowing everything else that's happening in town.
Can we make
in
a
our
video that we
specific-
post on our website?
We
something?
could do
Facebook?
that, yeah.
Does anybody know a videographer?
You
I
just
don't
do
know.
it on your phone. It doesn't have to be
No.
crazy. Just do it on
hard
your
to find
phone.
those
Yeah,
and
guys
cut
these
it on.
days.
A rotating arts promo.
Yes, I'll do that, but tell me what, I need guidance.
I
Yeah.
think the more grassroots this looks, the more
Artists.
interesting artists are
You.
going to be involved in. If it's too commercial and polished, I think they're gonna be kind of like, some of that old stuff. So I think by making it look a little bit more, I don't wanna call it edgy,
We can
per
make it look
se,
edgy.
but more
Yeah.
grassroots, like it's a, it is a city endeavor, but, we are a bunch of people who are passionate about the arts, and then,
So how about-
really just doing it.
What if we make a video, promo video
Yes.
for the rotating arts program, a promo video for the annual grants program, illustrating what it is, what it can do for the city, and who we want to apply. Like, we can make it funny, we can make it straightforward, like, let's just start thinking about it. I think
Yeah.
we should make videos. What do you guys think?
And it doesn't have to
Okay.
cost, really, you just take your phone and each of us could go to a location and just be like, this is, location 1, then location 2, location 3, and then,
It would be a resource that we could
Together.
pass out to the media. We could have it on our website, we could have it on
Mhm.
Facebook.
The other thing we need is, we have like a flyer, an interesting flyer.
So this is-
We just have our
Yes.
call, RFP or whatever, but do we have
Right.
some kind of?
Oh, you got one! Pass
Rough.
it around.
Okay,
Rough.
because this kind of stuff's easy to share on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
and it's interesting to, sometimes the
Pass
city
it
stuff
out.
that comes out is,
Yeah, I don't have it, I could put stuff on my Facebook page
I know,
and
like,
stuff.
I'm just
We
thinking
should-
how many people you can reach
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you start
yeah, yeah,
sharing,
should-
like,
Yeah, yeah.
artists, we need you,
You know that
Uncle
idea,
Sam!
that idea of everybody grab their phone? What if we invited the community to do that? And, because one campaign that I've always wanted to do was, where's your art?
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
And, I print in my garage, I make my own.
right.
Everybody kind of, so that we can show that we're all
Green
artists.
Bay, yeah.
Yeah, Green Bay is
Has
ready.
a vibrant art community.
So even if we made a contest out of it, we win something, or I don't know.
Right, which would generate traffic to
Mhm.
the
Right.
website, which would then make people want to, or even our Facebook page.
Right,
Where then
right.
this stuff will be, so they
Mhm.
can like click through it and see what we're all about.
Mhm.
That's a possibility.
And we are,
But on one hand, I don't want to take away time from actually getting artists through the door to
Mhm.
make a proposal. So there's two things. Time is of the essence, right? We want to get how many pieces up by, what's the
6.
deadlines and everything?
6.
By
Those pads are going in when,
Mid to late September.
it's right after that.
Right, but so technically time is of the essence. We're in this scenario that if we do, I would like to do that campaign almost like in between, we should already have applications in, and then the WPS sculpture, because that will really push people to our site. On one hand, I wonder if through personal outreach, if we can reach as many, you must have
I
access to.
shared, after last week, I shared with Kathy Kelsey Foley at the Woodson Art Museum in Wausau to draw from there, because she has a huge constituent.
Yeah.
Pam at the Trout, I shared it with Wisconsin Federation of Museums listserv. I sent it to one of the artists that we worked with that does large format. I sent it to UWGB's interim chancellor of Arts and Humanities, just because that network is varying and different. There might be students. I sent it to Susan at NWTC Artisan Center. And I sent it to Mary Ann, who is the president of the Green Bay Art Colony.
Oh,
The women
Oh,
typically
yeah.
don't
Awesome.
do sculpture,
Right.
but I had asked her and said,
To
you're in this
share.
network,
Yeah.
share within the network, because specifically this is sculpture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Laura, I copied you on most of that correspondence, and people were like, yep, we're gonna share it, we'll get the word out. Again,
It
I
might
did have an
take other
artist
people to
say
come up
that
with
they were gonna
ideas.
submit, but I was like, you have, just do it,
Right.
you know?
You sent the request for proposal for that?
There's the blurb, and so Laura had sent, originally, I think, to Stacy and I, a short description with the hyperlinks for the application process, so I
Okay.
shared that and said, you know, here's, I need to make you aware that this is happening here in Green Bay. You know,
Okay.
please let those that are in your network basically know that this is available.
Awesome.
Okay. Well,
So-
something's definitely lacking. Something isn't working. We need to identify that.
Because they
Maybe
get you quick.
Laura?
Yeah.
Could you send me the website then too?
Yep.
if you don't mind, thanks?
Thank you,
Sorry, I
Larry.
have to go.
That's all right. Thanks for coming.
If you wanna, in the next week, like this week, if you wanna sit down and then we could go through and identify, maybe there's a hurdle or something that's making people stop from actually doing something, we can look through the processes and try to identify what's going on. Because there's usually
Right.
some, like a Friday.
So you're willing to sit
Yeah.
down?
Yeah,
Right.
so please let me know where in the next, like before Friday, like so today, tomorrow, and Friday, if you have any, like an hour block, okay?
The other,
Tomorrow would work.
the other thoughts I had were ANCATS and Art Explorer.
Exactly, I
That's
think we need to go
Wisconsin.
broad and wide,
So-
Wisconsin instead of, you know,
But I kind of ran out of time last week on those,
Yeah.
so. And that might become more from the commission versus, since they are both statewide organizations, you know, I used personal connections versus correspondence
Yeah.
coming from the commission itself, saying, we
Yeah.
need your help.
yeah.
Stacy, I did see it come through Mosaic's
Yeah.
call for
Mhm.
artists, so that was out there.
And I did give her a little blurb, basically just that little blurb, and then she's gonna print it out.
Okay.
Include it in the artist packets at
And you-
Art Street.
You're familiar with, awesome, you're familiar with Wisconsin Arts Board and Arts Wisconsin, right? Yeah. Have you contacted them about this?
Yeah, I'm emailing in.
Okay.
I touched on like the Rotate Arts program, so.
But you haven't
she-
sent them the press release
No,
yet?
she hasn't responded.
Okay.
I
can
can
follow up
shoot
with
another
that
one
too.
today too.
Okay. Cool. And then, okay, two more real quick. One was the flyer. I mean, you've already done that. You've already started that. That's good. And then, so for grantees, I don't think we've talked about the stipend and like for the annual grants program. If they get the grant now, will they have a year to use it, or will they have only till the end of 2017?
It's 365 days, I'd assume, from the day they're granted it.
That's what I hope it is, but I didn't know that. Do we know that? Can we decide that right now? I think
Isn't that the contract language that was coming back?
1 year
1 year from when the grant is
awarded?
awarded, I thought.
I think it should be 1 year from when the grant is awarded, because it's, you gotta track it
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point, because you have to take it back if they don't use it.
Right.
Right.
So
Rather
it
than
probably
doing
should
the
just be a
fiscal year?
Just
Okay.
be a year from the grant award.
365, okay, good, okay.
And that'd be easy enough to track then, once we award it, this calendar.
Mhm.
Maybe Laura, if you could check the guidelines for the annual grants program, just make sure that verbiage is present. And that's all I have for the chairman's report. Arts coordinator report, you have anything, Laura?
What I got going on, as far as the budget goes, I just moved the rotating arts expenses and the annual grant expenses to September, since we still haven't spent any of that yet. So that just got moved over.
More money. Okay.
Yeah.
Just never spend it. We'll go
As far as rotating arts program, the 2 parks locations got approved.
Great.
Taking that other location to RDA.
Got approved.
Okay.
And then I'm just waiting on INS and
All of our sites are ready to go, so it's just a matter of getting the pads in, right?
Yep,
All of the 8 sites?
How many sites do we have approved now?
we have, I don't have that list with me. It should be 8.
That's awesome, okay.
Yeah, and then I just have that flyer that I gave you.
Hmm? I'll talk to, I think this is a great start, so we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
No, no.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Very good, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
This is fun, let's do it
Good
again.
work.
Okay, so now that we're adjourned, is this?
Aye.
So remember, I told you